One of the first things that people ask me because I work in real estate is, what's the market like? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? Do you know? Does anyone know? Today, we're going to go over if it's a good time to buy, good time to sell, both, or neither. Now, when you're talking about the real estate market, there's really three things that you're talking about. Number one is interest rates. Number two is price. Three is days on market. Not necessarily in that order, but that's just how I drew it out. So we'll go left to right. Number one, interest rates. Right now, it's about 7% on average. Now, historically, this is very low. But because our price is so high, it's not great. This directly affects the amount that you're going to be spending every month. So the higher this number is, the more you're going to spend a month. The lower, the lower. Now, the issue is this a couple years ago was 2.9%. So everyone was buying houses, bought houses, and now they don't want to sell because it's double the interest rate. And so if they want to buy a home, they're going to have double the mortgage on a similar house. So not a lot of people are selling, which goes to price. Price right now is very historically high, highest it's ever been. However, recently it's kind of gone up and down. In some areas, price is going down a little bit, but in most areas it's kind of stagnant. In San Diego County, the average is 1.163, so a very high number. So with that, because interest rates used to be 2.9% and nobody wants to sell theirs and get 7, there's not a lot of homes on the market. Now, price is directly supply and demand. Everyone wants to live in San Diego. Why would you not? But there's not that many houses for sale. Therefore, prices skyrocketed. Now it's starting to calm down a little bit, but it's also the end of the year, and that normally is what happens. Now, the other thing is days on market. So this is the big change in San Diego this year. Days on market used to be at one point even down to about 19 days. So what that means is if you go to sell your home, in 31 days, on average, you'll be in escrow, aka an offer is accepted. So now that we see the days on market going up, normally if things are sitting for a bit longer on the market, price is going to come down. And also with that, there's going to be more people on the buy side who get a little bit more power. But now with that understanding, the second question people ask is, okay, well, that's kind of an idea of the market right now, but who has the power? Buyers or sellers? So now for the positives and negatives. So for the sellers, not many homes on the market. That's good for them. That means what they have is more valuable. For buyers, not many homes on the market. One, it's less likely you're going to find a home that you love. And two, there's not as many homes, so that means prices are higher. Negative for sellers, high interest rates. That means number one is there's going to be less buyers, stick with it. And also the main factor is if there's really high interest rates, that means it's harder for them to sell and buy the next home. Because odds are, unless it's an investment property, they're going to sell that home to buy the next one. But if interest rates are high, it makes it harder for them to buy. For buyers, for obvious reasons, high rates, a lot harder to buy a home, becomes more expensive monthly. Positive, many people are looking specifically in San Diego. That's what we're talking about right now, San Diego, not national, San Diego. Bad, many people are looking in San Diego, lots of competition, not many homes, high prices. Now, positive, it's San Diego, so there's always going to be a lot of people looking to buy, and you're always going to make a lot of money if you're selling your home in San Diego. It's San Diego. Everyone loves San Diego. It's great to live here. That's why people pay the price. Now, who has it better? Numbers-wise, currently, sellers have a slight advantage. But it's a lot less than what it used to be. While they still do numbers-wise have a slight advantage, because earlier in the year, homes were selling, like I was saying, in 19 days, a lot of homes overnight were getting 10 offers. That's really not the case anymore. It's also the holiday season, but before then, there was a lot less homes getting as much traction. So with that is sellers, when they're going to sell right now, still think that it's, February, March, and that their house is going to sell in 10 days and they'll be done with it and it's going to be over asking. That's not necessarily the case anymore. So numbers wise, sellers definitely have the advantage in most parts of San Diego. However, in a lot of cases, because the psyche and this emotional side of the sellers is they're thinking they're going to get all this, in a bag of tricks, and they're not necessarily getting that much anymore. The emotional side, in some case scenarios, goes a little bit, from what I've seen, to the buyers, because the sellers are so stressed at their home not selling immediately, over asking, because they still think it's a market like that. So, long story short, sellers have the power numbers wise. Buyers, in some case scenarios, have a little bit more power emotional wise if it's been on the market for a long time, but definitely still, for the most part, a little bit more power for the sellers. So now you want the answer. Is it better to buy or sell? And the real answer is it does not matter. I'm sorry to have wasted your time for the past 5 minutes. All that stuff I just said, at the end of the day, really doesn't matter. Reason being, one, you can't predict the future. So tomorrow could be completely different. You look at the pandemic, no one thought that was going to happen. You look at the 2008 crisis, no one thought that was going to happen. So nobody knows what the future is going to hold. So you don't know if putting your house on the market in a month or buying in a month is a good idea. And number two is it's so individual. Best way I can explain it is the stock market could crash, but you could have all of the stocks that did good. So to you, it doesn't really matter that the stock market's bad because your stocks are good. In the same case scenario, it could be a fantastic time for you personally to buy, but maybe in the county or in the state or in the country, it's not a great time. But for you, it's maybe the best time. In the same case scenario, it might be the best numeric time to sell a house, but for you, it'd be a horrible idea, so you shouldn't sell. So the way that I like to look at it is, number one, talk to a realtor, and that way they can create a plan for you because it's individual to you. Number two is you need to do what you want to do. It's pretty much that simple. If you want to buy a home, you can afford a home you love comfortably, there's no reason not to buy. If you can't afford it comfortably, don't buy the home. If you want to sell your home because you want to get to a newer home and a better home, then sell your home. If you're afraid that you sell your home and you can't afford a newer and better home that you want to move into, then don't sell your home. So at the end of the day, it does not matter what I or anyone else tells you, especially if it's someone who's like, this is what's going to happen next year. Don't listen to that, because that's just historically not true. The experts are almost never right. So, buy or sell, it all depends on you. So, with that, if you want to know if it's a good time for you to buy or sell, talk to a professional realtor, whether it be myself or anyone else. You can contact me. All my information is in the description. But make sure that you get advice for your specific scenario, not countywide or even neighborhood-wide, countrywide, statewide. It's your home. It's your individual need and want. Thank you for watching this week's video. I hope it debunked a little bit of the you need to buy or you need to sell that so many people will kind of put you into. As always, do what's comfortable to you and what makes you feel good and what you think is your best interest. As always, thank you so much for tuning into this week's video. If you want to catch the next week's video, make sure you subscribe. If you really like this one, I'd appreciate you leaving a like. Let me know you did. So yeah, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much again. Have a great week. Until then.